Welcome to the Travel Ones podcast. Today, my guest is Pili Montilla. She is an Emmy Award-winning TV host, promoter, product specialist, influencer, world traveler. How are you today, Pili?
I'm super happy to be here with you, Peter. I mean, it's been a couple of years in the making, I feel
Yeah.
like. So I'm honored and blessed to be part of your roster of amazing, talented guests. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you being my year-end guest. Last one of
Woohoo!
2023, so that's a good thing.
Love it.
You know,
Closing, we say in Spanish, cerrando con broche de oro. You're closing the year with a gold pin. I don't know if
perfect.
that's a good translation, but something like that.
I when I interviewed Gerardo,
Yeah.
you
Like
know,
Rico Suave, Gerardo?
yeah.
What? You did not, did
Do
you?
you know what he's doing now?
I have no idea. What is he doing?
Take a guess.
Traveling the world doing something cool?
No,
Mm, teaching how to dance.
lives in Kentucky. He's a pastor.
What?
He's a
Okay, I gotta
pastor.
listen to that. Okay, you gotta send me that link to that interview.
He still has
Yeah,
Rico Suave coffee.
he had a coffee called
He,
Rico Suave.
Rico Suave coffee. So he's doing that,
Oh,
and he still sings once in a while.
I remember he once visited Puerto Rico and he was hitting on my cousin.
We'll cut that part out.
No, leave it, leave it. It was funny.
No, he was married at the time. That's why he's a pastor now.
Oh, gotcha.
He's
Yeah.
still married, same woman.
Well,
Yeah,
she's a good woman then.
exactly. And he admits to it. That's one of the things, that's really why he became a pastor.
Oh, see,
So,
behind every man, there's an amazing woman.
and then some.
And then some.
I'm looking for my wife. Where is she? I don't want her getting big headed.
Yeah,
So
but anyway, yeah, I'm glad to be here. And
it's awesome. We yeah, it has been a couple of years. It's been like a year and a half, almost 2 years.
yep.
And you have traveled. I always tell people that I love talking to people that travel a lot for work. Unfortunately, to get them on my show, it's hard because they're traveling for work so often.
Yes, it's on this part, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah. So kind of give us a little background of how you became an Emmy Award-winning TV host to influencer to a business owner. I forgot about Carla and Co. And
Yes.
I mean,
Um,
many things going on.
many things and all creative, and I think
Yeah.
that's what's exciting about at least the life that I've gotten a chance to create for myself. I've always been interested in the arts, especially theater. I was like 8 years old when my parents took me to Broadway to see a chorus line, and I remember in the finale, like applauding and crying and telling my parents, like, that's what I want to do. I want to evoke emotions in people. I want to entertain and make them happy and make them think or tap into their emotions. And one thing led to another. I studied dancing while growing up. I was in theater. I studied theater in college. And then I moved to New York after college and was a waitress while I auditioned for a bunch of stuff.
Of course.
Got rejected many times.
Of
Booked a
course.
couple little things here and there, but not enough. And then I moved to Puerto Rico, and so this is after college, right? I moved back to Puerto Rico, which is where I'm from. So I'm from San Juan, Puerto Rico. And MTV was doing an audition because they were opening a station in Puerto Rico.
Well,
And my mom was like, you should audition. And I auditioned and I fell in love with hosting. I fell in love with interviewing musicians. Growing up in Puerto Rico, we've always been very much influenced by different music genres coming
yeah.
from the Caribbean, from Northern America, Southern America, and Central America, and Europe. So my library of music has always been very broad. And so I auditioned for MTV, got the part. I was a VJ for MTV for 3 years, kind of like that was my school. That's where I learned how to produce, how to translate from English to Spanish, Spanish to English. That's where I learned how to interview musicians and interview people in general. That's really where I got my skills. And after Puerto Rico, after being there for a couple of years, I did soap operas and I did radio. I had a radio show and I did everything I thought I could on the island.
Yeah.
It's a fairly small island. So I decided to move to LA, and now I am 16 years later. I'm still here in LA doing what I love, which is interviewing musicians. I have my podcast. I
Yeah.
work with different brands as influencers, like you, as an influencer, like you mentioned. And I have the co-owner of a clothing line. So it's just the creativity has expanded over the years.
How much of that is planned, or how much of it just kind of happened?
You know, that's a good question, because it's like I don't feel like things just happen. I think
Yeah,
you
you definitely put
create,
yourself.
yeah, you have to put yourself out there. You have to network. You have to leave doors opened.
Yeah.
I quickly learned that the entertainment industry, even though we're in the capital, in the world capital of the entertainment industry, being here in Hollywood, it can be very small. And you
Yeah.
never know, like 5 years down the line, what producer or what director you'll be working with again. And if you don't behave well on set, your reputation will show that, you
Let's say it's
know.
really all you got, right?
It's really all you got. Although I also have worked with really like not friendly people in the industry, and
Oh
I
yeah.
see them like get rewarded, you know. But I've always thought that it's really important to like be nice on set, be a team player. Now that I have experience as a producer, because I've produced my own TV shows and radio stations and all that, you learn even more of the importance of working as a team, you
Yeah.
know, and how that can advance a project. So I'd say a lot of it has been preparation, a lot of it has been a positive mindset, a lot of it has been leaving doors open, maybe a little talent in there somewhere.
More than a
um,
little.
being bilingual has definitely helped a lot,
Yeah.
because I've been able to work in both markets, the general market and the US Hispanic market, and the Latin, you know, for in Southern America and Puerto Rico too. So a little bit of everything, I think, has gotten me to where I am.
How much does that hurt you?
Which part?
Uh, Having the Hispanic background, do you think it's hurt you at all?
I don't think so. I mean, you know, I don't look your stereotypical Latina, which, you know, people think of Latina, they think J-Lo, or, you know, someone not as pale as me or with freckles. You know, I have blue eyes and I'm blonde. So I'm not your stereotypical Latina. And when I moved to LA, and I have an accent, right? But I moved like a Latina. I speak with my hands. I like I said, I have the accent. So when I moved here, there was a big push from my agents and manager to get rid of the accent or be able to switch it on and off. So I took accent reduction classes, and that was a waste of money and time. So, you know, or dye your hair darker like Sofia Vergara, and I'm like, yeah, but I still have blue eyes and I'm pale. Like,
We'll
you
get you
know,
contact lenses.
right, right. And it was just like I just decided
Be
to
you.
be myself and own who I am. And all Latinos, you know, Latinos, we come in all shapes, colors, and sizes. And I think that's the beauty of who we are. You know, I think nowadays you know, we're all mixed and we all look different, whether
Yep.
you're Latino or not. So things have changed for
Well,
the better.
that's why I was so excited to talk to you, because I think you've bridged that gap. You didn't necessarily fit in that Hispanic stereotype.
Right.
You didn't quite fit into the blonde hair, blue eye stereotype of Hollywood.
Right. I mean, you know, if I would audition for parts that were more, you know,
Anglo.
like Anglo, they'd be like, you have an accent. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? What accent?
What accent?
What are you talking
Hey,
about?
what's up?
Uh, yeah. So it's like I never fit in. I was like, I'll just create my own opportunities. And that's eventually how I ended up having my own, creating and producing my own TV show, which is the one that
Yeah.
I got the Emmy for. Yeah.
Well, and that's, I think, the strength of you. And I think that's why so many companies like using you, because you don't fit in the stereotype, but yet you keep plugging, you just keep doing good work, and it gets recognized.
Thank you. Yes. And you know what, like Peter, like I enjoy what I do a lot. And I
Oh, yeah.
think that shows on camera or shows on the podcast, you know, it's like I really, really enjoy what I do. And I love interviewing musicians, and I love representing brands like Walmart, and I love what we're doing with the fashion line, Carla and Co. So, you know, it's like passionate work for me.
Yeah. Well, that would make you Latina.
True, true. We are no, and I'm Scorpio too, on top of being Latina.
Ooh.
So I'm extra passionate.
Yeah. You're extra, extra.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit before we started. How much traveling have you been doing this year? Now that we're at the end of the year.
Okay. It has been such a fun, crazy year. I've been to Norway, Denmark, Budapest, Mexico, Orlando, Washington, Florida, Puerto Rico, Bentonville. I've been to a lot of places this year, and it's been
Yeah.
awesome. It's been so much fun. You know, I go to Mexico once or twice a year. Actually, this year I went twice. But I had never been to Scandinavian countries, and that was on
Yeah.
my bucket list, and it was really cool. Had an amazing trip. Traveling is definitely one of those things that I'm passionate about and feeds my soul and feeds my creativity. So traveling is like essential for me. Like I
Yeah.
have to travel, especially internationally, once or hopefully like twice a year. It's good for my mental health, it's good for my soul,
Yeah.
it's good for my mind to expose myself to different languages and cultures and learn from them. So it's an essential part of my life for sure.
I was gonna I try to ask everybody this question. This will be an interesting one for you, I think. Of all the places you have visited, not lived in, but visited, what's the most influential?
London, and I actually lived in London too. And I was just in London in this trip too. So I went to school in Boston for college, and then my second semester, junior year college, went to London and I did an internship program for the Royal Shakespeare Company there. And I ended up living in London for almost a year, for like 9 months. And I feel like that city was really what made me a woman. Like
Oh, really?
I pierced my tongue. I went to punk concerts. I like studied the punk movement. I've always been really into reggae. So there's a lot of reggae
Yeah.
in England. Obviously, you know, they um a lot of Jamaican influence there.
Yeah.
And so I would like go to underground vinyl and music shops to look for really cool reggae albums. And I was 19 at the time. That's where I learned how to drink, because you know, even though I'm from Puerto Rico, I wasn't interested in drinking until I moved to London. Like I think like London really made me a woman. It was kind of a city that influenced me in many ways. You know, there's so much art in London. It's a very cosmopolitan,
Yeah.
uh,
The
and and
history.
so much history there. I got to travel a lot while I was there. You know, I went backpacking for like 2 months while I was there, um, all over Europe. It just, it was. There's a before and after
Yeah.
of Pili, thanks to London. So I would say London has influenced me the most.
That's a cool answer, though. I mean, I wonder how many people would think, oh, London's probably the most influential place Peter's ever been.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I have a London has a very important part of my heart. Like it won me over. And every time I go, like even now that I went and I just walked by myself and I walked a lot, and I love that city. I love the architecture. I love how international it is.
Yeah.
It's such an international city. And then you find museums, you find theater, you find music. Uh, it's a very well-rounded city.
I agree. What are what's your bucket list of what are the places you haven't visited yet?
I haven't been to anywhere in Africa yet, and that kind of
Okay.
breaks my heart. I'm like, I gotta change that soon. So I would love to go to South Africa at some point, but I would like to go anywhere in Africa, in all
Yeah.
sincerity. I haven't been to Brazil yet.
Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been to Brazil yet. I haven't been to Australia.
Yeah.
Vietnam, Myanmar, Laos. There's so many countries that are on my bucket list, you know? Yeah. It's funny, like I've never been to Hawaii, and I think Hawaii is like on a lot of people's bucket list, but I've never been to Hawaii because I think growing up in Puerto Rico, I've always been like,
It's an island.
yeah, it's an island. I know it's different. But tell you, Hawaii is kind of one of those places, Peter, that I'm like, oh, if I win a trip to Hawaii or someone suddenly calls me, hey, I'll invite you to Hawaii, I'll say
You would go.
yes to. But I'd rather save that money and go to Brazil or go to Africa or Australia. Yeah. Or
See, I
somewhere.
have to go to Hawaii for work. So,
Oh, you have to.
yeah,
Oh,
well,
that sucks, Peter, doesn't it?
well, look who's talking, young lady.
That's true. I do get to travel a lot for work, and that's a blessing.
Exactly.
Sure.
But it's still work.
It's
But,
still work, but I mean, it's fun work,
you know,
you know.
but Hawaii is unique because I have stores on 4 different islands
Oh, nice. So you go what, once or twice a year?
once a year.
Once a year.
If I went twice, I'd lose money. So it's kind of a break even.
Got it.
But you know, you go to Oahu, it's Honolulu, Waikiki, it's real touristy and all that. And then you have the big island of Hawaii, and then that island is 90 miles across. So you
Right.
have the dry side, the wet side. Then you have Maui. I had 2 stores on Maui. They closed up during COVID though.
Hmm.
And then 1 store in Kauai. So
How fun though that you get to go.
yeah, my wife's always available for that trip.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame her, right? It's like,
Doesn't
what a
matter when, she's
coincidence. What a
available.
coincidence. I'm available. I don't blame her. Smart woman you have.
I have that week off. I'm like, I didn't tell you what week. She goes, I know.
She's like, yeah, I know. Smart. Yeah.
I got to go to Montana. She goes, I'm busy.
See, I like Montana.
Not in the winter, you don't.
No, not in the winter. I don't like a lot of places in the winter. I'm
Yeah.
not, you know, coming from Puerto Rico, I like to be warm.
Out here, I'd rather be hot and sweaty than
Me too.
cold and freezing.
Me too. Yes.
I was born in Phoenix and lived in California most of my life, so it's kind of the same
Yeah.
boat.
Yep. The cold's not for me.
That's what I tell people. When you're traveling, do you kind of use the downtime, the flight time to relax, or are you always trying to do work and trying to make connections or do whatever?
So it depends on my mood. Like sometimes
If you need the break.
sometimes if I'm chatty, like I try to, because you can meet so many interesting people on a flight.
Yeah.
So if I'm like super up and not super tired and I'm like in a chatty mood, I try to learn who's sitting by me. And from that I've actually booked deals through that, you know,
Yeah.
like I've met people that worked for a cosmetic brand and I ended up doing something with them. So it's like, you never know, right? If I'm not in a chatty mood and I'm tired, I try to sleep. And I always listen to the same album. So there's like this music album from an Argentinian artist whose name is Gustavo Cerati. There's actually 2 albums of his, Colores Santos and Amor Amarillo. And for some reason, every time I travel, I listen to that soundtrack. It's kind of like the soundtrack of my travel.
Yeah.
It kind of it resets my mind and it sets me up for, okay, the next adventure.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll send them to you.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. At least for me.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
And sometimes I try to read, sometimes I try to journal, watch a movie, you know, depends.
Yeah. Kind of the same way. Just there's times when I don't want to talk to people because like when I get done with this, you know, I'll be in Vegas for 2 weeks. I'm talking to 5,000 people a day.
Right. Wow.
I get done at night. And they're like, hey, do you want to go? I'm like, no, I don't.
I mean, Vegas takes a lot from you. You have to be there for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Bless your soul, man.
The rodeo is 10 days long.
I can't do Vegas more than 3 days.
Oh, 3 days. My wife was always like, I know. She goes, just by our phone conversation that night, I know how long you've been there.
Yeah.
She goes, the first week, everyone's like, hey, nice seeing you again. Hey, it's great. Okay. Second week, everyone's like, when is this over?
It's 2 weeks. It's a lot in Vegas.
Yeah. Sleeping in a hotel room. So every meal you're eating out. Yeah.
You're inhaling all that smoke from the casinos
In the dry air and yeah. Yeah.
Oh God. I
But
hope you take a spa day.
I think this is my 14th year doing it. So
You're semi used to it.
yeah, it is what it is.
Do you go to the spa?
No,
Maybe
I
you
work
should
every
treat
day.
yourself.
I work every day.
Well, maybe you should book yourself a little spa day, at least
Well,
half of the day or something. You're like, no, Peter, Pili, I just said I work every day.
I work every day. I got the email today saying they want me to come a day earlier to get more work done.
So you can go to the spa. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
You wish, right?
I'll tell them, hey, I need a spa day. They'll be like, yeah, you'll get
Yeah,
that in 2 weeks
right. They'll
when you
laugh
go
at
home.
you. You're like, but Pili told me.
Don't you? Peely said.
Right. They're like, oh, well,
Well, in that case,
no.
they'll be like that girl with the pretty red hat, and I go, yeah, that
Yeah.
one. Oh.
I have a love-hate relationship with Vegas because I criticize it a lot, but at the end of the day, I always have a blast when I go.
It's one of those. I mean, I have to, like I said, after 14 years and being in my 50s, I don't have some of them are the people that go there that work for me. It's their vacation. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's their release. So they get done work and then they go out. And then at 3 and 4 in the morning, they go back. And
Oh God,
we've had a
no.
couple of people that they just stay up.
Yeah, I don't have that energy anymore.
I don't either. I'm like, hey,
Those are not my days anymore.
I always tell people, I go, I don't care what you do at night, 10 o'clock in the morning,
Right, just show up.
show up and smile.
Yeah. Are you going to the Sphere?
I'd like to, but the U2 tickets,
Are so expensive.
for I think there's 6 shows while I'm there. 5 are sold out.
Oh,
And the one night that's available, the cheapest ticket was $500.
well, that's actually cheap compared to what I was looking at. I
I
don't
know.
remember.
Like I
It
said,
was
that's the
like
cheapest ticket.
1,000, 2,000. It was crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's an amazing experience. The videos look insane.
Yeah. But 1,000?
It's a lot of dinero.
And there's a
Mucha
lot of
plata.
things going on. I mean, we get invited to concerts, almost every night. That's why I'm saying, like, I tell myself not to go out every night. Like every other night I can go out.
Right.
Because there's always, I mean, there's a ton of country
Of
people that are
course.
singing and parties
Yeah.
and get-togethers and
How fun. See, you and I have fun jobs.
well, look who's talking.
Yeah, no, we both do. We both do, for
Yeah, well,
sure.
I mean, a lot of people don't have fun jobs,
I know. I know.
and
That's why every day, I swear to God, every day I wake up and I'm like, thank you, universe,
I just thank God
for
I don't have to go into an office from
it's
9 to
not for
5
me.
every
I've
day.
never had a 9 to 5.
I have. They're not all they're cracked up to be.
Well, they're not cracked up to be anything. But
Well, but you need them, right? I mean, there's lawyers and I mean,
yeah, yeah.
people need.
And there's people who need that security. I mean,
Yeah.
there's anything about my job is like
No,
that
yeah.
everybody's knows it's not a very stable job,
So let me ask you the difficult question. You travel a lot. You have
Mhm.
multiple things. How does that affect your personal life?
Um, it hasn't, but I think it's because I look for partners that are also adventurous. Um, and I think I'm pretty transparent, so people kind of know what I do for a living when they meet
Yeah.
me. They know that I have a hectic life, but I also have a lot of free time. I'm my own boss, so I get to schedule my own schedule, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of freedom in that. So I don't think, if anything, I think it's helped my personal life because it makes me more of a fun person, I think, or I attract like people who are okay with
Yeah.
that lifestyle, and those are the people that I want to partner up with, you know. But I'm sure, for someone that doesn't understand, it's just obvious, someone that doesn't understand my lifestyle wouldn't be attracted to me, or I wouldn't be attracted to them because we don't share that in common. And for me, it's my lifestyle. It's how
Yeah.
I live my life.
I was gonna say it's not who you are. It is who
Exactly.
you are. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But sometimes you got to learn how to balance, especially, because my career, it's like there's a lot of work. And then, for example, now December, January are
How
very
much?
slow months, right? It's probably the same for you in retail, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's very cyclical,
Yeah.
but sometimes it can be challenging when I'm like 2 weeks away and every night I'm hosting something, or, the Latin Grammys, for example, it's always a crazy week. And then it affects my life, my private life maybe a little, but
Do
it
you host?
balances itself out.
Do you always host the Latin Grammys?
No, so I've
Or
hosted like red carpets
yeah,
and the Latin Grammys. I've hosted events. I worked for AT&T for a while, and I hosted a lot of like the after party for the Latin Grammys. And for the podcast, we usually go to the Latin Grammys and interview a lot of the artists.
I would have
So
seen you there.
yeah,
I turned it down. So I go into one of my stores, right, in Santa Ana, and we're wearing Western clothes. 'Cause that's what we do, right?
right.
I go into the store. The owner, he is in a white hat with a blue ostrich band, a white jacket with a blue ostrich belt,
Yeah.
white pants with blue ostrich cowboy boots.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I go in, I go, where in the F are you going?
And he's like the Latin
He goes, the
Grammys.
Latin Grammys, you want to go? I got an extra ticket. I'm like, I'm wearing jeans and like, regular shirt, like,
Right. And
I'm
he's
not
all
going
like,
next to you.
love it. What a style. What
I'm like, I'm
style.
not going next to you. Who's the
People
bum?
go all out the Latin Grammys for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you been to any award shows?
Yeah.
They're boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Latin Grammys, it's boring. It's live TV, right? So, and it's like 3 hours long, and
It looks better on TV.
it looks way better on TV. So it's better for you guys to just enjoy it from your television, from the comfort of your home, than being there, because it's long and it's tedious. And then they ask you to applaud.
Yeah.
It's like, so
It's
you
not
you're,
all it's
you're
cracked
better
up to be. Yeah.
maybe once.
I
That'd
went
be
to the MTV Music Movie Awards one year.
fun.
My daughter worked for a guy that won an award.
Oh, fun.
And so we got the tickets and all that. And but like you said, it was like, hey, on TV, I'm not sitting here for like
Right.
going, oh, they have to reset.
People don't realize
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not all cracked up. I went to the Emmys, the daytime Emmys.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
And how were those?
That was okay. That was better, I think. Because it wasn't as highbrow,
Right.
because it's daytime. It's like, I mean,
Mhm.
they're stars, but they're not,
Right.
it's not De Niro and
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So that was
Hollywood, it's a funny thing.
it's a weird world.
It's so weird.
Who's your favorite person that you've interviewed so far?
It depends. Like, I feel like Sandra Bullock really surprised me. I wasn't a big fan of hers, and after interviewing her, I'm like, she just converted me into a Sandra Bullock fan. She was really cool. Daddy Yankee is always fun to interview because he's very much a businessman, and he's super smart. And like him and Pitbull, you talk to them and it's like you have a certain perception of them, and then you sit down with them and they're like real businessmen. They're not only creative and artistic,
Yeah.
but they know the business of creating music and how to maximize their potential and how to make hits. And so those are interesting always.
I was going to ask you who's your least favorite, but I don't want to ask. It could put
I'll
you in a
tell
tough
you
spot.
what. I'll tell you what. I mentioned her during this podcast. I'm not going to mention her again, but if you've been listening,
Okay.
I mentioned her.
All right.
Yeah, that was not a nice experience.
I always tell people when I go to the rodeo and people are like, "Oh, where are you from?" I go, "Los Angeles." And they're like, "Oh, so what famous people do you know?"
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And I'm like,
Yeah, it's
'Cause,
like,
they're from Montana or North Dakota
right.
or Iowa, Nebraska, and I go, celebrities are like anybody else.
Mhm.
They have bad days, and you just
Of
hope you meet them on
course.
a good day.
Yep,
You know,
that's true. Yeah, I'm really into pickleball. I'm an ex-tennis player and now I'm a pickleballer.
that's because you're
And
old.
thank you.
Yeah, you're
True.
welcome.
True. Now I can't move as well as I used to. So I've
need the smaller
transitioned. I've
court.
demoted myself to pickleballer now. But I was playing in Santa Monica, and as I was entering the court, Shia LaBeouf was coming out with a big smile on his face, and I was like, "This is what living in Hollywood is all about. You never know who you're going to bump into."
I went to Shutters and eating breakfast there with my old boss. This is 15 years ago, and Iron Man had just come out, right? So I'm sitting there, and the ocean's right there, and I hear Jeff Bridges' voice sitting right behind me,
Oh my
like,
God!
because he's got a real gravelly voice. He's the dude, and all that.
Right, of
He was an
course.
Iron Man at the time, and I turn around and it's him. He's sitting right behind me, but just to hear his voice while you're eating, it's like I'm trying to listen to my boss, and I'm like, "That's Jeff Bridges, like
Right.
right there, hearing that voice."
How fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
And I love his roster of movies, like he's done some really cool movies, like you said, like Big Lebowski and all that. Great actor.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's LA, right? It's like you're just sitting
That's
there having
LA.
breakfast.
I mean, I was playing pickleball too, like, I don't know, 4 months ago, and Matthew Perry was playing next to me.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Who's on the bucket list of who you want to interview?
So I'm a big The Killers fan, and I've met
You could make
Brandon
that happen.
Flowers. Well, I've met him not 1,000 times. So look, okay, so interesting story. This is why traveling is so important. This is one of the many reasons traveling is so important, because you never know who you're going to bump into. But I've met Brandon Flowers before. I've met him like 3 times probably, but I've never interviewed him or The Killers. Anyway, when I went to that Scandinavian trip in July, we had to stop in Heathrow. I'm at the Heathrow airport in London.
Yeah.
And suddenly I see Brandon Flowers with his wife and his kids. And I'm there with one of my best friends. And he knows that I'm a big The Killers and Brandon Flowers fan.
Yeah.
I actually had a The Killers shirt, not on me, but in my carry-on, which I should have taken out and asked him to sign. But anyway, so my friend Joey's like, go and take a picture with him. Like, go in. And I'm like, no, he's with his family. I don't want to be that person. And then suddenly he's by himself. So his family leaves and he's just standing there.
Yeah.
And Joey's like, go take a picture. I'm like, no. So then Brandon Flowers leaves. And of course I regret it.
Of course.
Right? I'm like, you're right. I should have taken that picture. I'm so stupid. I should have taken that picture. And then I say, if we bump into him again, I'll ask him for a picture. And we go down the stairs to the bathroom or something, and there he was again. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna like gather my courage. And I was like, Brandon, hi, I'm like a big fan. I said, I've met you before. And of course he was like, oh yeah, I remember, which is probably bullshit, but I bought it. I was like, oh, he's so friendly. And we took a picture together. So Brandon Flowers and The Killers, I'm a big fan of theirs, and I would love to interview them at some point, even though I'll probably be super nervous when I do.
Isn't that weird? I met Olivia Newton-John.
Okay.
At a rodeo event, which is my wife.
Like she would have been a sweetheart.
She was my wife's all time.
Okay.
Like all time. My wife's met a lot of celebrities. Oh, just Bono, everybody, right? Duran.
Wow.
But she never met Olivia.
Okay.
And I have a picture of my wife at Olivia's concert when she was like 9 years old. Right?
Oh,
that kind of fan. So I go to this rodeo party at work at the rodeo in Vegas, and my wife was in town. She goes, I'm going to go to eat with my friend. And I go, I got to go to this work thing. He goes, okay. I see Olivia there, and I'm like, oh fuck. I go, like, I have to say, I had just enough drink in me to go.
Yeah.
I don't usually do this, but we just saw you at the Flamingo at the Donny Osmond Theater. My wife's a huge fan. She's seen you multiple times. I have now seen you multiple times because of her. So I just want to say thanks for making great music. And her husband was right next to her. And she goes, oh my God, thank you so much. You're so nice to say that, blah, blah. Super sweet.
Oh, I love
and I go,
that.
I never do this, but my wife literally will not believe me. Is it possible I could take a picture with you? And she goes, yeah, that's fine, honey. I go, okay. Because she's at the elevator lobby waiting to go down. So I get the camera. I'm trying to do this with my blur camera. And I go like this. And she goes, no, honey. And she lifts the camera up to get a better angle.
Yes,
and,
she knew her angles.
We take the picture, and I go, thank you so much, and have a great night, and blah, blah, blah. I send my wife the picture. She's in Vegas, right? At dinner. And right when I send her hit send on the picture, one of my clients is there and he comes up to me, one of my store owners. Hey man, what's going on? I put my phone away because now I'm at work, right? So I'm talking about, yeah, hey, I'll come by next month and we'll do this. My phone's going. I go, hey, so we talk for a couple minutes and I pick up my phone. Where are you? I'll be right there. I've left Norma. I'm on my way. Just tell me
Ah,
where to go. And I go,
did she
no,
get
no.
to meet
I go,
her or no?
he already left. I go, that was it. She goes,
Oh,
oh, I killed you. You know.
oh. Did you get a good picture though?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
And I
good.
remind her frequently that me and Olivia hung out one night.
Just to make her a little
My friend
jealous.
Olivia. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, Liv and I.
Yeah. So it's the same way. It's like and that's it's interesting because I met Mick Mars and Nikki Six uh
Fun.
at LAX. They were in the first class line for a flight I was taking to Houston. I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna go say hi.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I tend to not do that.
It's so not me too. Like I've
Yeah.
met, I could tell you multiple people I've seen, and like I'll just leave them alone.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the
But for
same
some
way.
reason, I was just there. I'm like, that's Nikki Six and Mick Mars. Like that this will never happen again. I gotta.
Right. Right. Yes.
So,
Gather the courage.
and now I have my Olivia story.
It's a great story.
It's
Yeah, the picture of the Brandon flowers, it's not my favorite, but I still posted it on Instagram. I still put it in, and I will forever remember that moment.
well,
But you know, like I had like no makeup on. I had just flown from LAX to London, to Heathrow. So it was like a long flight. It was just not my best picture, but hey, I have a
oh, you want
picture.
to hear you want to hear the real Nikki Six Mick Mars story?
Yes, please do.
As a traveler, when I get home, like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go to Vegas because I painted last night. I painted the bathroom. I put up the Christmas tree, got the lights out, got the lights down because I have to get all this done before I leave. Right. So as someone that travels, I'm always like, well, I got to get my car worked on, or I got to go to
Yep.
the dentist.
You got to pre-schedule things, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to get them in between. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna fly to Houston. Let me do my dentist appointment that morning, and then I'll just sit on the plane while I'm numb. What do I care, right? I mean, so I go and get my work done. I'm numb. Worry about.
Ah.
I'm sitting there and I go, it's Nikki Six and Mick Mars standing 15 feet away from me with their
While you're
two security guards.
drooling.
I kind of forget, but I'm like, I'll probably sound okay. I go, hey, I just want to say thank you. Here's what it sounded like. Oh, I want to say thanks. A lot of good music over here, And I'm like, I don't care. Shit, they probably felt
Yeah.
sorry for me.
They're probably like, sure, whatever you said.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't understand what you're saying, but
You're welcome. You're
yeah,
welcome. You're welcome.
they all make for good stories.
Yeah, but it's like I'm never gonna see these two guys together again,
Right.
standing
Yeah.
right there.
Very cool.
Oh, they were cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brandon flowers were super cool too.
So 2024 is coming up. What's on your flight schedule for next year already?
So I'm Puerto Rico in January.
Nice.
And then probably Mexico. I'm really interested in buying something in Mexico City because I love it so much and I go so often. So hopefully buying a property in Mexico City, buying a property in Puerto Rico, like that would be cool for next year. And I don't know what else, it's kind of I don't plan my travels that far in advance. I'm kind of like a
Yeah.
1 month before kind of girl. Kind of spontaneous too.
But yeah, I mean, you have like the Walmart stuff. That's you've done that a couple years in a row.
Yes. So I've been working for Walmart for over 5 years
Yeah.
now, and I get to travel a lot with them, which is such a blessing. I love working with them. I love what they're doing. They have a lot of great incentives for a lot of minority groups like veterans and Latinos. So I love spreading the word of all the amazing programs that Walmart has. So I get to travel with them a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know the schedule for next year yet, but that's usually always national, so it's always within the US. But with Carla and Co, there's some promo tours coming up soon, and that'll also probably take me to the East Coast.
Now, what is Carla and Co?
So Carla and Co is Latina owned fashion brand, and we're known for our t-shirts. So we do a lot of very basic but fun and colorful t-shirts with
Cool
kind of
sayings.
like Latino, right, sayings and slogans. So it's a way for us to kind of tap into our roots, remember our roots, especially if we have migrated from a Latino country and being in the US. We miss our countries a lot, you know. So there's certain phrases that kind of like remind us of where we came from. And we use a lot of humor in our designs too, which is super fun. It's part of our culture as well. Very proud of what we're doing with Carla and Co. It's an amazing company. We have an amazing community. It's been around for a couple of years now. It was founded in 2018 by Carla, and I joined the company about 2 years ago. And it's been really fun to be part of this growing creative company, and also to be part of a community that really supports us. You know, we get a lot of support from the US Hispanic community, especially Latinas. And it's really fun to see when people post on Instagram and showcase our t-shirts. It's just really fun, you know, and they're kind of talking pieces. You know, I've been at the airport actually when I was flying to Arkansas. There was a girl that had I was sitting in the airplane and there was a girl coming in and she had a Carla and Co shirt. I'm like, oh, that's Carla and Co. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm the co-owner. And she was like, oh, I have like 3 of them, you know? So
That's cool.
I see them around, and that's really cool.
Is that, though?
Yeah, it's very cool. It's, you know, it makes you feel very proud of the work that you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, that's someone is going out in public wearing something that
we created.
Designed and created.
Yeah. And like I said, they're fun, you know, and the price point is very accessible. And we've just expanded to men and kids. So that's new for us. I know. Yeah. So if you want any shirts, Peter, you let me know.
I'll have to have my friends translate. I don't want you, because you'd probably set me up with something.
I can help you.
You probably set me up though. I'm with Wado or something, you know, say something crazy. I'd be walking around with all my
right, thinking that you're like all this amazing billboard, and people are like, "What are you?" But it's funny because sometimes when we have a shirt that says Latina and I wear it, and sometimes I get like weird looks.
Yeah, blonde with the blue eyes.
Right. I'm like, no, I swear I am.
You go that would be great if you get like a Southern accent and go, well, I like it though.
Right.
Just totally
Latina.
Even worse, make it even worse for it.
Right. Yeah, that'd be funny.
We'll have to try that out. See?
Yeah. Thank you.
That'll be a TikTok for Carla and Co someday.
Are you on TikTok?
Yeah.
Then you use it?
Not as much as I should, probably.
Yeah, same here. Gotta get on that.
Yeah. It's just so many.
Too much work.
A lot of platforms. I wish everything was this. It's like you know, like when you get a phone and they switch the plug and you're like, oh.
I know. I literally just got an update on my phone like 2 nights ago, and I am a little lost.
I got to do that tonight. My wife's like, you didn't do the update yet. I'm like, no. She goes, oh, you got to do it. I'm like, all right.
I don't know how to do voice memos anymore. Like my microphone for some reason is not open. I don't know. But yeah.
But that's you know, TikTok, because TikTok format's different than Instagram Reels, which is different than Facebook, which is different than LinkedIn, which is different than.
They just want to complicate our lives.
Yeah.
They just want us to be hooked on this. I've kind of taken a break after Burning Man. I've been kind of like, I don't know if you've noticed, but like on Instagram, I'm hardly posting. This Mexico trip, I've hardly posted anything. I'm just like,
I'm just trying to post my guests.
You do a good job at that, though. I feel like you do.
You give me an hour of your time. The least I could do is make some posts for it.
Yeah. Well, when you promote this one, make me a collaborator, and I'll be happy to accept it. And
so, wrapping up, how can any of my guests listen, follow you? Where do you want them to go?
Instagram, definitely not TikTok, because I'm not active on TikTok right now. Instagram is definitely the platform that I use the most. Yeah, so Pili Montilla, Pili is my name, and Montilla is Montilla. Find me there.
For my white people, it's Pili Montilla.
It's Pili Montilla.
Montilla.
Montilla. You're right. That was the other thing that I started doing when I started going to auditions when I came to LA. I was like, hi, I'm Pili Montilla. And I'm like, you sound like such an idiot. Just say your name how it is.
Yeah. Can you imagine quesadilla?
Quesadilla. Yeah,
Doesn't sound right.
it doesn't.
But I mean, I've lived in California and Phoenix, so it's like,
People know what you're asking for.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I also use the proper language because it's been around my whole life.
Do you know any Spanish?
Oh, poquito.
Un
Sí.
poquito. Qué bueno. Muy bien.
Camasita, chaleco,
Ah,
no,
botas,
botas, botinas,
sombrero.
sombrero. See,
Mhm.
so yeah, just enough to get in trouble. So that way, when my Hispanic accounts are talking to me, I go, see, I do the reverse. When I was growing up, they no habla, no habla, no habla inglés, but I knew they knew English.
Right.
So now I go, oh no, no habla español, but I know just enough to hear what they're talking about.
Right. Whether, yes, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn Italian. So that's another place that I haven't been to in a while. So hopefully in 2024 I'll get to go to Italy and practice my Italiano.
That'd be good. That'd be fun. Just for work or for fun.
For fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you try and balance that? Do you ever go, hey, I gotta go XYZ? Like do you ever go to the magic show for Carla and Co?
We went once.
Yeah.
And it was so overwhelming.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's
I
crazy.
did it once too for our company, and I was like, I'm never going again, because it was for us it was a waste of time. But
right.
like we're literally sitting there, we're selling cowboy boots and jeans, and then I look down and there's a ball gown,
Right.
models
Right.
walking. I look this way and there's swimsuit models walking in the
You're like, where do I fit in?
I'm like, it's everything.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun for us to go. I'm not gonna say I'll never go back, but it's not a priority for us right now.
Yeah, that's how we felt too.
Yeah.
That's interesting how this changes.
So
Pili Montilla, Carla and Co.
Carla with a K. So carlaandco.com is, check it out. It's not, most of it is for Latinos and Latinas, but you'll find some really fun gifts there as well for non-Hispanics. So check us out. The price point is very accessible, and we have sweatshirts and hats and tote bags and t-shirts. So check us out.
What's the name of your podcast?
Pili, which is my name, Raul, who's my co-host, and La Música. And so it's Pili, Raul, and La Música, and you can find us in all podcast platforms. It's a bilingual podcast where we interview Latin musicians, some non-Latin, but mostly Latin.
Yeah.
But we've interviewed everyone from, Carlos Santana to Milky Chance, which is, they're from Germany, but they sing in English. So if you're into music discovery and you're into just listening to really fun music genres,
definitely subscribe, because
when
the Brandon Flowers episode comes out, I want all my listeners to
make note for sure. But
I'll definitely tag him in our episode.
Oh yes, right. Yeah, I'll make him a collaborator. I'm sure he'll accept that.
Why wouldn't he? You're Pili.
Could you imagine that happen? That'd be awesome. You never know. I'll put it out there. You never know.
I get blown away every time when people say yes.
Right. You just have to give them a chance to say yes.
Yeah. Real quick, because we're a ways in, so you probably won't be listening. I have Julian Marley ready to be on the show. He said yes. And I'm like, all right. But he's English. He was born in England.
Okay.
And and he's one of the 9 kids, but yeah.
Right. Oh, okay. So I'm a big reggae fan.
Oh, I know.
Yes. How fun.
Yeah, I had Maxi Priest on. I've had Stephen Coor from Third World, Cass Haley. So
are you a reggae fan?
Oh yeah.
Peter, let's go to a reggae concert.
We just did I just did the CEO. She started her own Reggae at Sea. It was
the cruise?
Yeah, the cruise. I had her on the show. Because she's cousins with a lady I work with at the rodeo.
Oh, look at that.
But she lives in Long Beach, and she's doing another one, I think, in February, another reggae cruise out of Long Beach.
I think it's called Jammin' or something. I
No,
don't know.
no,
I
hers
got
is called Reggae at Sea.
yeah. Okay, yes. I
But
think I got the lineup for that, and it's like
she
a
had
pretty good lineup.
Tomorrow Bad Seeds. She had Ellie Dub All Stars. So she had some. That was her first ever production.
Very cool. I'm
Yeah.
glad you're into reggae. It's such a great genre.
Oh wow! My first album was Bob Marley's Rastaman Vibration. First
Nice.
album I ever bought.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
And then what was cool is Maxi Priest sang one of the songs
On your podcast?
Yeah.
I gotta get on like listening to more of your episodes
from that album. I was like, because we were talking about lyrics, and he doesn't think listeners care as much about lyrics as they do about beats now. And I said, well, you know, people still can quote almost every Bob Marley song.
Yeah.
You know, based on the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, you got a point there.
I saw him last year in Vegas, and it was him opening for UB40.
I went to the same tour.
Okay. Yeah.
I interviewed Joaquin McWhinney from Big Mountain.
Oh, okay, cool.
They played at the Bowl.
Nice.
So
I don't think I ever got to see Big Mountain, but that's so cool. That's so cool that you're gonna interview Julian Marley, though.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I hope it goes well. Yes.
I just hope it happens. I'm not supposed to talk about it because I jinx
it.
I've had a couple of really cool people say, "Yeah, I'll do it," and then they don't.
So, okay. Well, but we'll pretend we never had this conversation.
It's a not yet. That's how I look at it.
Okay, it's a possible maybe.
Correct. You have Brandon Flowers. I got Julian Marley.
Virtual high five. Boop, making it happen.
There you go. 2024 is the year.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate getting you in between your trips. And
thank you. I'm so glad we made it happen. And since DJ Basie contacted us and I spoke to you on the phone, I'm like, this is a really cool guy. And I'm honored to be on your podcast. Thank you for helping me.
I was talking to Stacy today.
She's the best.
She was hitting me up about AI and doing all that.
I love her. She's so cool. She's pretty so cool. Yeah.
So we'll definitely have to do that lunch sometime.
Or let's go to a concert or something. Let's make it happen.
Okay.
You know what? You have a special invitation.
Uh-oh.
December 14th.
I won't
Are you going to be here? Oh, man. You're going to be in Vegas?
I'm in Vegas, December 4th to the 20th.
Darn it. Okay, then next year. Because once a month with the podcast, we do a live event. Damn, Peter, I should have invited you to all these. They're so much fun. So we're sponsored by Maker's Mark, and we do a live event where we interview. It's by invite only. We invite about 60 to 70 people, and we interview an artist or a musician in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
Then there's a Q&A, and then the artist gets to play a very special, intimate performance. And it's at the Gibson Showroom in Hollywood.
Okay.
Open bar, food, like I said, invite only. Really cool conversations and live music. You can't go wrong with that.
I'm in.
Okay, I'll let you know for the one in January then.
Is it usually? Yeah.
So it's yeah, for anybody that lives in LA and is interested, just make sure to follow the podcast Pili, Raúl, and La Música on Instagram. Or if you go to my Instagram, Pili Montilla, it's on my bio. And shoot us a DM, and if you're in LA, we'll invite you to our next one.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Pili, Raúl, La Música live from the Gibson Showroom, thanks to Maker's Mark, every month.
I got to get better at that.
Yeah.
You got the decade of experience.
The plugins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to get better at that. Well, thank you again, and we'll definitely stay in touch. Have a great holiday.
Thank you. You too. Happy holidays to you and your family. And again, thank you so much for the time.
Thanks, Pili.
Bye.
Bye-bye.